I'm Dr. Elena Sherwood, and I've been on TikTok a couple of years now. And so what I'm really trying to do is help people in some free way, because if you can't, couple therapy, relationship coaching, that's all expensive, right? And so I'm really trying to design my content that's usable for everybody. Type into the comments if you have any questions you'd like me to answer. One of the reasons I got into this field, there's a lot of heartache out there. A heartbreak in high school. All of my friends used to have heartbreak in high schools. To be honest, I was so into relationships even then, just kind of the idea of it. Now that I think about it, I was 16 years old and I was writing poetry for all these friends of mine who are going through breakups. Fun fact, even in my earlier years, before I even started my profession, I was always in jobs that were around other people. That was just what I wanted to do. Is like, I was a cashier. I was a switchboard operator back then when we had those. I was always around people. So anyway, all that to say, fast forward, when it came time to building a career, this is where I wound up. I started off with a degree in social work, what was then called Ryerson in Toronto. That is now called Toronto Metropolitan University. And then I followed that up with master's degree about 8 years after that, and then my PhD from University of Calgary. So I like to learn, I love to learn, and I also love to help. I've been talking quite a bit about healthy relationships because, of course, people who are asking me, well, what are you selling? People have products, right? What am I really trying to sell? Well, what I didn't really know is I've been actually selling this a good part of my life is I've been selling healthy relationships. If I were to put one out of my bag and if I had a magic wand and every relationship I can come across, it's like sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. There is no reason in the world that we should be putting up with unhealthy relationships. We have options today. There are plenty of ways to learn, and there is really no excuse for it. Now, it's out there, sadly. There's no excuse for it, but it's out there. And there are just some people who, unfortunately, have not been taught how to have good relationships. And even sadder, there are some people who have no interest in becoming healthier in their relationships. And good for them. But I'm really eager to educate you and everybody you know about what to do and how to have it. Why else would you be in a relationship? According to me. That's me. We open our hearts to people. We open our lives to people. We let them in close. And we shouldn't be doing that lightly. We should be doing that. When we do that, we should be treated with respect. And we should be treated in the manner in which all humans should be treating each other. So, all your years of experience and insight. Thank you. Yes, the more I talk, the more I'm finding little crevices and little pieces of information. Oh, I should tell them that. Oh, I should tell them that. I thought, oh my God, thank you, Liv, your sweetheart. Thank you for the lovely compliment. But that's the thing is like, and if you're anything over a certain age, you're just finding like, okay, my brain is full. Somebody in the planet needs this, right? Surely. Like, I worked very, very hard to have a lot of this information in my head. I don't want to take it with me. Oh, thank you, Nicole. I'm doing my best, honestly, but I'm finding, and I don't know if anybody else, for those of you who are creators here on TikTok, do you ever find that sometimes you've got so much and you don't quite know how to funnel it into something that's useful? Because I could seriously talk here all day about relationships and about just being healthy and about mental health and about depression. What I haven't yet had time to venture into in some of my content is sort of the mental health relationship and depression, anxiety, any of that also in a relationship, sort of merging both of those bodies of information, because those are big. And so, again, I can't just kind of throw that on there to say, okay, just so you know. And Thank you, Nicole. Just so you know, in case you're wondering, if you have any kind of mental health or your partner has any kind of mental health diagnoses, or maybe the two of you have on your own diagnosed based on what you can find on Google, hey, no judgment here. If you kind of found that and you've said, I have these, always better to get a proper diagnosis. But if you have mental health diagnoses, if you have like clinical depression, and if there is generalized anxiety, if there are childhood trauma, all of those will affect your relationship. I didn't say it'll get in the way necessarily, and the last thing I want you to think is, oh, I have a diagnosis. That must mean that I'm doomed to a terrible relationship. Not at all. No, wash that out of your brain. Wash that out of your brain. That anybody with a mental health like it's going to affect, but it doesn't mean that you are doomed to a life of loneliness. And in fact, I used to do quite a bit of work with PTSD couples in my work with the military, and that I was working with quite a few soldiers who had PTSD. And it has not diminished their ability to love their partners. What it's meant, however, is that their partners have really had to understand how that was getting in the way. And they've had to really clue in, okay, why is he like no emotion? Why is he like tuning out when I'm trying to talk to him? Why does he look like he's here, but he's not really here? Or he's so distracted, or he's kind of, he kind of looks like emotionally numb. It's like, and so when we get a few of things kind of tweaked in, it's clear. And it's really lovely to see how a person who is suffering and a partner who is there to support, it's really quite refreshing and heartwarming. And some of the best moments I've ever experienced is when you see people really connect no matter what. And that connection, honestly, is the only reason you should be in a relationship. The only reason is to connect with somebody in a very meaningful way, and for that other person to be connecting with you in a very meaningful way. Thank you for coming to my TED Talks. Honestly, I will preach, not all day today, but I could, about just how important it is that's what relationships are to be. Thank you, Nicole. Right? Right? Because people can do so much damage when they're in it for the wrong reasons, or they're in it and they don't know that there are options. And that, well, I really like this person. Like ain't enough. Loving someone is far from enough. It's not. Anybody else who's just coming to join, I just saw, welcome everybody. If you're coming in and out, that's okay. You got, there's lots going on in life. So I'm glad you're here, but do ask me any questions if you have any. I could actually tell you about a question that I got asked. I think I kind of answered that somebody asked me, this is content I've been trying to funnel in, so I'm glad there are a few of you here. You're getting it fresh. I haven't done the content yet, but I'll just at you. What makes a healthy relationship? What's love got to do with it? Yes, totally. And I love Tina and her story. Okay. Healthy relationships. What do you need to have a healthy relationship? Okay. Where's my book? This was the brunt of my doctoral thesis, everybody. 3 things. Okay. It's going to sound pretty easy, but it isn't. I'm going to name all 3. Intimacy, commitment, respect. Big deal. Woohoo. Not too bad, right? Intimacy. Do you have any idea how complicated intimacy is? Because intimacy is about, hey, I really like that person. And I'm going to I really desire to be with this person. And I can't stop thinking about this person. And I really love being with this person. Like, this isn't just a like kind of thing. This is like, wow, I am pulled to this person. And I don't want anybody to take this person away from me. And it's a mutual thing. So it's not just the love, but it's also like the strong desire. Okay, now that's only 1 out of 3. Remember, that's 1. But like I said, love is only one thing. It ain't everything. Number 2, Number 2, commitment. It's the I know things are going to get tough and I'm not walking away. I am not running because this person is worth it. This is a person I want to invest my time in. And this is a person who I believe also wants the same for me. So commitment is also it's not just that I'm not going to run, but it's also I'm going to block off exits. If I know that if I go to that bar and all these hot guys are going to be there, or some, a man saying, oh man, the babes in that place, if I go there, man, it's like, then I'm not going there. I'm not. I'll go maybe with my girlfriends and have a thing, but I'm not staying late and I'm not going to get drunk and I will not put myself in a position where I will violate the things that are important to me, like my relationship. And commitment also means the very meaningful, intentional prioritizing of what's going to come first and what isn't, including one's ego. That's a troublemaker, by the way, everybody. Okay, so I'm still talking about intimacy and I've talked commitment. And here is the one thing that I found in my study that is also out there in the other studies, but it's not nearly as prominent. Respect. Respect is many things. Respect. It's not just please and thank you. It's not opening doors. Respect isn't, respect is showing value of your other person's thoughts and feelings. It's a place where you will say, okay, tell me what you think. I don't agree with you, but I don't have to agree with you because you are a worthwhile human being. And so that one, people, that's actually big. I have about 12 posts ready to go when I can kind of edit them and get them sort of organized about how complicated respect is. But it's a respect that stops you from really doing really stupid things. So when you think about, you combine the intimacy and you combine the commitment and you combine the respect, that's where you're golden. Thank you, Nicole. I appreciate you keeping me company here. Welcome, Samir. Where are you? Where am I finding you? Where are you? Welcome, Acer. Welcome, everybody. I appreciate that you're here. Let me know. Thank you again, Nicole. I'll see you. Catch you on another live. If you have any, I'll introduce myself again. Dr. Lena Sherwood, retired couple therapist and now a relationship coach on here. Sometimes I trip up because I was a resilience coach for a while. But now I'm solely going back to treating relationships, working on relationships with people. Hello, is it Jerry? Hello, Jerry. Hello, Brenda, to kind of visit. So how to stop being jealous. I love that. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Samra. Oh, much appreciated. Much appreciate the content. How to stop being jealous. Okay. So there are two reasons that this happens when a person gets jealous. It's possible that one is not very careful with your heart. If let's say your partner is not very careful with your heart and is kind of careless with it and doesn't kind of treat you with a lot of respect, that can bring on jealousy. So that's one scenario. The other scenario is maybe if a person has endured a lot of loss and they're scared that they're going to lose somebody else again because they know how terrible that is, then they might be prone to being jealous. Is this making sense to you so far? Because there are really two reasons that I find that people become jealous. One is the partner is very careless with their heart, and the other one is the person who's feeling jealous has had some bad experiences. When you compare yourself to others, okay. So my question is, you're comparing yourself to others. Okay, well, I'm just going to come out and say, I know this is going to sound so cliche, but I'll say it anywhere. Nobody else on the planet is like you. And what I find is the people, when I've been jealous myself, when I've been comparing myself to others, that has usually meant, assigned to me, that other people have things that I really want that I'm not going to get myself, if that makes sense. So, for example, I was very, very pregnant, and a very, very good friend of mine and them and a couple, they were going away on a beautiful trip. And I was just sick with jealousy. I'm sitting there and I'm just sick, furious with like, oh, how come they get to go away? How come? But really what that meant to me is that it was a sign that I had my own longing to take a little trip, and I really needed to change things up, and I wasn't doing anything about it. And so if you feel like you're being jealous of somebody else, then it might be time for you to pay attention to what is it about that particular person that they have that you are wanting. And then you take it further and say, whoa, what am I doing about that? Because the times that I've seen this also in my work, when they have been jealous of other people, it isn't so much about I want to be them, but it's really more they have something that I really want, and I might not be pursuing it. Is that making sense though? That response to why you compare to others? It's kind of tough, isn't it? But I find that when we are comparing ourselves to others, it's usually a sign that there is something that we really deeply want. And the beauty of that is it's also a sign that there's something in you that can have it, or something, whatever it is, that you need to go and get yourself. Yes, I guess it also has to do with self-esteem all the time. Our self-esteem goes up and down depending on a lot of things affect. We need to think more positively. We focus more on negativity all the time. All the time. It's very easy to say, how come they have that? And we forget actually that, whoa, but I have this. They're that. Oh my God, look, look at that. Look at, whoa, hello, have you met me? Kind of that feeling of, and so, but don't be so hard on yourself, because if your self-esteem and how you're feeling about yourself is kind of low, that could mean many other things. It could mean that you're under a lot of stress. It could mean that there are so many demands on you. And it could mean that you're physically unwell, or you're mentally unwell. Then that will affect your self-esteem if you've had some health issues. And so you'll be more tired. And so again, if you are finding that, if you're finding that you're feeling kind of down about yourself, like, oh, who am I? Then have a look at all the things that are on your plate. Have a look at all the pressures that are on you. Have a look at all the demands and all these things that you have around you that require for you to do certain things. How to get over someone who betrayed you. Heart. I'm so sorry, I'm sure, whether it's you or somebody else. How to get over somebody who betrayed you. Celebrate that you know that somebody betrayed you, and you're not blind to it. And you don't always have to forgive. People seem to think that they have to forgive, and you don't. Forgiving is something we do for ourselves because we want to lighten how we feel. Like we just want to, I don't want to carry this hatred. I don't want to carry this anger. And so we forgive. We can forgive them without even telling them we've forgiven them, because sometimes that feels like we're letting them off the hook. So when somebody betrays you, that's really about them and what their character is all about, and not you. And so make sure you can separate somebody's bad behavior and somebody's bad deeds, and make sure that, okay, that's them and that's not me. That has nothing to do with me. If I do something really, really evil and it harms and hurts and betrays my husband, that has nothing to do with them. That is all completely on me. And it's all completely on me to make it right, or to accept it, or to apologize, or not, because many people don't. This is a tough one because it really depends on the level of betrayal, right? And if it's something that, like, is this betrayal something that's still... Yes, it does. It's hard when it's a long-term partner. Yes. May I ask, is this still a long-term partner? This person, are they still together? the people, because that makes it hard. Whew. Okay. Good. So my first thing is celebrate the fact that you are now free, or this person is now free. You don't have to do anything anymore. And so wish them well. Close that chapter mentally, physically, whatever needs to be removed about last items and any of that, and just breathe. And sometimes we just have to accept that people are assholes. And people do mean things that hurt us. It's not okay. If you are still in that, I'm hurting, and and that'll happen. Sometimes you feel like, okay, I got over that nasty thing that happened and I'm better. And then some little thing will happen and then it'll trigger it. And that's okay. Let me just, it's okay that you still have that, and then just kind of work with that again. What I want to make sure though, is that you never go to the place that, what did I do to deserve it? Now, we should all be responsible for our own behaviors, but bad things that people do, that's on them and that's not on you. And maybe there's a part of you that wants to learn, okay, what can I learn about this? Is there something that I could have done differently, maybe just for myself? Because really all we're supposed to be doing, I've been in that place, but want to move forward towards healing. Okay. Well, one of the things that I've suggested to people is to actually physically write them a letter. Don't send it. That's not for them. This letter is for you. And you just go to town on your anger in this letter. Go to town on your resentment. Go to town on your, how dare you? And then, like, write it, handwrite it, type it, whatever, print it, whatever, and then burn it. Just burn it. Safely somewhere. Don't set fire to anything. Here in Alberta, we got all kinds of forest fires, but be responsible about that. But write it down, release it from yourself, get it out of your mind, out of your heart, write, type, and then look at it and then physically destroy it. Sometimes that act of transforming the mental stuff into something physical that could be destroyed can help people with closure. How do you deal with silence in a relationship where the person is so distracted with other things around them that they forget? Is that the question here? Don't be afraid to say, I'm talking to you. Hey, I know you're distracted, but sweetie, I need you to listen to me. Don't be afraid to ask for what you need. I have an amazing, amazing husband, but he gets distracted and he gets sort of into other things, too many things going on. And I've just learned that the easiest way for me to just kind of deal with all of this is to say, did you hear me? Whoa, hey, what did I just say? Like, feel free to do that. Because how else? I mean, they're not mind readers and they get so distracted. Now, if they keep doing it, then you sit your ass down and say, whoa. Do you know how often you do this? Kind of disrespectful, kind of hurtful. Can we talk about this? Can you do something about that? Like, don't be afraid to speak about what you need. Okay, I had heartbreak 3 years ago, but still, I can't forget him. It's hurting me. Okay, and then we have, how can I deal with your ex of 15 years moving across the street from me? Really bothers me. Wow. Okay, let me just get through. Heartbreak 3 years ago. It's still bothering. Can't forget him. It's still hurting me. You don't have to forget him, because it's okay for you to have good memories, and it's okay for you to say, wow, that one really, really hurts. The important thing is to not sit in the pain too long. Because that's the thing with grief, right? Because whether you've lost somebody whether it's through death or through a breakup or through some other thing, or they moved away, and you know, grief is something that's just kind of, it's always kind of going to be there, even if it loses over time, it loses its intensity. So that's one thing you can do, is just, whoa, there's that grief again. And maybe the question might be, what is it that you had then that you wish you have now? Because sometimes what you miss about them and about what you had then has actually nothing to do with the relationship itself. Like, it could mean, I missed who I was when I was with him. Like I was confident, maybe I was a little blind, maybe I didn't really know what was going on, but I loved feeling that. And then maybe it's just time to reconnect with yourself to figure out, oh, okay, what am I really missing here? What am I really deeply desiring that I'm not pursuing? And this is a question, this is something for everybody. You should always be asking yourself this question anyway. What am I desiring? And what am I doing about it? Because really, it's the only thing you can control in the whole situation, right? I hope that helps. Let me know if it did. How can you deal with your ex of 15 years moving across the street? Seriously? Oh my God. Well, you might not have any choice. And especially if somebody's kind of moved on and you're moved on and he's moved on. I think the best thing we can really do in a situation like that is to just really find the grown-ups in us and to keep things as separate as they need to be. Because you're no longer with that person, right? So you're no longer accountable. And what you do is no longer your ex's business. And the other scenario is what your ex does is no longer your business. So it's really about, okay, whoa, that was the past. This is the present. Now you're going to, oh, he never did that for me, or she never did that for me. That's going to happen. And that's okay. That's just part of the healing, right? That's just what we have to do sometimes with the process is, okay, well, I'm sad that I didn't get that from him. Or I'm sad that, had he been this really great guy back then, we wouldn't have had to split. Like there's a lot of places that your mind's going to go, and just let it, but always bring it back to the present. Always bring back to, okay, well, that was then. Can't do anything about that. And this is now. Okay. Oh, thank you. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And thanks for the follow. Thank you for the follow, people. Oh, okay. Yes, it's still fresh. Breakup. Fresh is tough. What does it mean when your boyfriend breaks up with you, but still asks if he'll see you around? As in, does it mean he still wants to hang out a little bit? Or does that mean, is it kind of like, okay, let me just make sure I'm getting the question correct here. I want to make sure that it isn't a scenario of, okay, I don't want to be with you anymore. We're going to break up, but we're going to hang out, right? We're still going to be, no. My sense is you have plenty of friends and you don't need an ex-boyfriend to be a friend. Especially if that's something that hurts you inside. Wall. I'm a whole package. You don't want this whole package. You don't get the friendship. You don't get the love. You don't get anything. That's the way it goes. Sometimes we get confused about what we're supposed to still continue. Your choices here. If you want this person out of your life, done. Block whatever you have to. You are under no obligation to maintain any kind of friendship. I got bingo. Okay. It's only been a year. Okay, well, that's fresh too. No, in like 2 months, we have a concert coming up, and he asked if he'll see me there. Is that like, I hope to see you there? Or is that like, let's get together? Or is this more like you really don't want to see much of this? Like you have control over this. People are going to send you mixed messages all the time. Especially, I'm guessing that you're a lovely person and you offer a lot in general, that your amazing personality. So you are under no obligation to be friends or to be whatever to anybody. And if you decide it's too weird, we were a thing once and now you're gonna, no. Yeah, I might see you there. I might not. Thank you. See you later. Like, be clear on where your lines might have to be here. Because, hey, you got to guard this, right? Okay. Okay. With someone who doesn't love me anymore, it admits to not love me anymore. He won't leave, though. El Maria, you may have to make him. If it's an option, you leave. Because that's somebody saying, yeah, you're not good enough for me, but I still kind of don't want to change my life enough to inconvenience whatever this means. Because there's a strong message when somebody says, I don't love you anymore. And somebody says, somebody says, I don't love you anymore, and admits to not loving you anymore, and he won't leave. Dumb a message, either kick his ass out, hers, or you find a way to leave. but it's going to have to be up to you to put that line somewhere, wherever that's going to have to be. Our breakup was really upsetting. I know he loved me in a real way, and I could tell he was hesitant. I know. A little bit earlier, I talked about how important it is to have the 3 things for your relationship, though, eh? And probably you weren't there because it was much earlier on the live. I talked about how you need the love, you need the intimacy, you need that strong desire to be together, you need the ability to commit, as in you don't leave just because it's tough and just because it's kind of whatever, this is uncomfortable, I'm going to go. No, there's that staying power that's necessary, and you need respect, as in I care about how you feel. I care about the things that are important to you. Without those 3 things, the intimacy, the commitment, respect, relationships are doomed to fail. He also admits he wouldn't admit, okay, he loves me. He also thank you for the lovely, oh, look at that crown heart. Thank you. He also wouldn't admit that he doesn't love me because he said he does, but we were toxic. It's possible that you were toxic together. It's possible that the mix of you together were that way. And so, that's possible too. If the 2 of you were not able to work things out in a healthy way, then probably you were. Dylan, you guys, hey, you guys stop fighting. Thank you. Oh, that was you with the heart, El Maria. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Okay, do you believe in coming back together? The vibe I got from him was like we should work on ourselves. Okay. People get this part confused all the time. You working on yourself does not require you, whether or not you're with your partner, does not affect you working on yourself. Okay. And people say, I don't want to be, I'm going to find myself. Before I'm with my partner, because, you working on yourself, personal development, personal awareness, self-awareness. Let me be clear. My personal development, my self-awareness, that's on me. And so when people say you work on yourself and then I'll work on myself, and then we'll kind of see, that sounds a little bit, to be honest, as an excuse. To me anyway. Now there might be other things that are happening, but if that's sometimes that's, that's hilarious. Oh my God. Thank you. Oh, that's hilarious. But that's the thing, is that having to create this, oh my goodness, artificial avocado. Hello. Lovely to see you here. And so, yeah. So when people say you work on yourself and I'll work on myself and then we'll get together, to me, that looks like an excuse. My opinion. But I could tell if things were better between us, we wouldn't have broken up. Yes. Oh, lovely heart. You probably wouldn't have broken up if you were as strong as you are today, and if your partner is as strong as he is today. The reality still happens is that you did break up. And so if you both have decided, whoa, we do love each other, we are able to be, that's so cool. We are able to commit and not run. And we'll find a way to always respect each other lovingly, then go for it. But remember, you need those 3 things or you're going to crash and burn again. And I'm not saying, like, relationships do come back where that is what they do, right? It's like some people actually get married again. Like they divorce and then they get married again because they found that parts of themselves. Because let's remember, relationships are grown-up things. They are for grown-up people. And they require grown-up behavior of treating each other with respect, of staying when things are tough so you can work things out, and of allowing the affection and showing affection. Very, very important. We are currently broken up and in no contact, but his birthday is August. Should I send a birthday message? My question to you is, what is your reason for it? Because if you're sending it just to keep the door open, the door's open. It sounds to me like your door is open. And if you're sending it because you think it'll start the beginning of another beginning, be honest with yourself. We can't get very far in life, and we can't heal it all when we're not being honest with ourselves. If though you're feeling that you still really, really want him, you want to give it a go, and you think that he does love you and does respect you and will commit to you, then that might be a conversation you can both have sitting down as grown-ups and to see if that's even a possibility. Because when we ended things, he asked me if my phone number will change, and he told me his won't change. Well, that's kind of lovely for him, though, isn't it? It's very convenient for him to continue to have you in his life. But if continuing the contact is harmful for your heart because it's confusing you and it's stopping you from healing and it's stopping you from moving forward, then there's the problem. So we have to be very aware of what it is we're doing. Even when I was giving back my things, I got hesitant, and he said, maybe we can have it back someday. Again, my recommendation is the only way this will work is that the both of you sit down like grown-ups and say, there's some double messages here, or there's some kind of confusion about whether we're over or not. Let's talk about this. That's very grown-up, respectful, adult behavior. Welcome, Nessa Va. Welcome everybody else who's kind of coming in and out. I'm so glad you guys are here. So should I just wait and see how things are in August and see each other? I really want for you to think about what you want. Never mind him. Never mind what he might want. Let's kind of park him for a second. I want for you to just really think about what you want, because that's what matters the most here. That should be the thing that matters to you the most. And if you really want him back, if you say to yourself, if I were to be really, 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 really honest, the thing is, I do want him. We were so in love before things turned toxic. Toxic is not a good word to have in a relationship. It's not. Toxic hurts people. Toxic hurts people's self-esteem. Toxic hurts people's core. Toxic stifles people. So if the two of you are toxic, the thing is, I was more tolerant than him when similar situations would arise. And there you go. And so either way, perhaps you were a little too tolerant. And it sounds to me that you weren't really with somebody who really respected you, because he wasn't tolerant either. Remember, I talked about the importance of respect, and respect is tolerance. Not too much, because if you tolerate too much, then now you are being disrespectful to yourself. Big difference. Self-respect first. Never be with anybody who questions your self-respect. Never be with anybody who diminishes your self-respect. We always talked about marriage and even kids, and had names too. Again, if you really want him back and you think the two of you can be grown-ups together, who are respectful, who don't run because things are tough, and who are always kind, sit down and have a grown-up conversation. When I was a couple therapist, I used to get people who were coming back together or who were trying to fix their relationship. So a word of advice, couples therapists cannot fix your relationship. People fix their own relationships. And couple therapy works when two people are committed to working on it. So there's that. Do you think it's right to give each other time right now, like use time apart to work on me? I think you're going to do whatever it is that's going to suit you best anyway. I do believe that you should spend a lot of time thinking about what you deeply desire and what is deeply good for you, what is healthy for you. And if there is any equation in there where there is toxic, where that word toxic comes in, keep it out. Keep it out of your life. That shit will break you. Over time, it'll break you. So I know I've got a lot of people say, yeah, you have so many opinions. I do. Thank you. Okay. When a narcissist asks for divorce after 20 years together, should you believe him? Should you believe them? My question would be, what's your gut telling you about that, about the narcissist? Because if the narcissist wants out, let him go. Let him go. Narcissists are very taxing on humans. They're very hard on relationships. And so if there's a place that you can be out of a narcissistic relationship, a relationship with a narcissist, be free. Set yourself free. That's my personal opinion, because I've worked with several of them and they're a handful. I know how horrible I think they want to liquidate the house. Maybe. But if that means you're not with this partner anymore, who is narcissistic, who is very hard on your self-esteem, very exhausting to, yeah, there you go, a nightmare. A house, bricks and mortar. In the end, there's nothing more important than your heart and your soul. Yeah, he's a liability. There you go. I take a long time to make myself vulnerable and become close to someone. Any quick tips? Liam, thank you. Excellent question, by the way, Liam. Okay, so my question is to you, ask yourself, and this I invite everybody to ask themselves too when it comes to their relationship, what am I scared of? If you really like this person and you foresee a future with them and you love this person and you value them and you want to commit to them, then allow yourself to say, what am I afraid of here? There are things we're all afraid of. We are afraid that we're going to be abandoned. We're afraid that we're going to be rejected. We're afraid we're going to be abandoned, dismissed, or we're going to be diminished. All of us are afraid of those. So, Liam, if you have those fears, you're normal. Everybody has those. And so it's okay. But you also have to kind of think about, do I really care about this person? Because if you do not open up to your partner in a decent amount of time, your partner could be misreading things and thinking, yeah, he's not interested. He really doesn't want me. And so I invite you to say, okay, oh, here's a better tip. If it all goes sour, if it goes bad, I open up, she breaks my heart, remember, you're going to recover, because people recover from heartbreak all the time. And the fear of something bad that might happen is worse than not possibly having something amazing because you were afraid. I forget the name of that amazing guy. I'll have to look it up. Maybe you can look it up. He says, if you think the fear of success, whatever your success is too high, if you think the price for success is too high, wait till you get the bill for regret. It's not original. Somebody else said that, and I love it. Okay. I hope that, Liam, tell me if that hurt. Great advice. Oh, thank you, Liam. I'm so glad that I was able to help. Okay. Megs, I had a question. Do past partners come back after no contact in time of healing? They can. They can. Some circle back with good memories of the great times you guys had and think maybe we can come back and do things differently. So again, the same advice that I was giving a little bit earlier, think about what you do want. Because maybe you think, oh, it'd be great if they come back and then maybe we can open the door and we can see where things go. Maybe. But again, ask yourself, is that really what you want? And I said this a few times earlier too. If the word toxic gets anywhere near a description of your relationship, stay away. What if I was the toxic one? I love your little smile. Okay, let's face it, all of us have the capacity to be a toxic person driven with the wrong conditions and the wrong, all of that. So I guess my question to you, Megs, is, okay, let me focus on Megs first, and then Bert, I'm going to look at what you just typed in here. What if I was the toxic one? And then my question to you, Megs, is, do you believe that you have gained insight from having been a toxic person? And have you made some changes to safeguard yourself from doing those things that I'm sure you didn't want to that you didn't want to do? Because even toxic people don't like being toxic people. They just kind of fall into a pattern of doing things, and they don't know they're harming. And even they know they're harming, they don't know how to stop. Now, we are intelligent human beings, and if we put enough effort into finding out why we do things, we have the power to start changing them. Because if we realize we're doing something bad, then we learn, whoa, how can I stop doing something bad? And then we pick up that we treat that like it's a brand new habit we're trying to hone, and we learn from that. So if you do feel, okay, I've been reflecting and starting work on myself and know where I went wrong, it finally like, oh, Meg, hey, great job, Megs. Yay, there you go. And so if you do feel that you've made some changes, now, if you really have made these changes and you've had this clicking kind of like insights, whoa, amazing, check in with your ex. And if you really can't stop thinking about your ex and you really do want, I'm all about grown-up behavior here. I am all about, if you want something, say it, but always be kind, always be respectful, always. If your ex is in another relationship right now and there's kind of thing, then I would say, whoa, well, I don't know. Just do something that aligns with your own values. I hope that helps. Does that help? Yeah, okay. Okay, now, Bird, you had a question. But he says that he feels like he doesn't do enough, even though he does so much. Can you give me more context here, Bird? Are you saying that he says he feels like he doesn't do enough for you, but he does so much? Oh, well, oh my goodness. Okay, Megs, okay. Too soon to, okay, I'll just go back to Megs for a sec. It's so too soon to reach out, and I know he needs space. Okay, that's very respectful of you to acknowledge that space is going to be good for him. And that's kind of being the ability to park your own needs to say, okay, that might be good for me, but that's not a very respectful thing to do to my partner. That's excellent. Okay. And so, Bird, you were saying, are you saying your partner, okay, there's another comment. Maybe that's from you. Bird, he does so much for me and he feels like I don't do enough, but he also feels the same way. He does so much for me and I feel like I don't do enough, but he also feels the same way. It's possible that you're both, Bird, you guys are doing so much for each other, and you just got to celebrate that. Instead of beating yourself up to say, well, if somebody says, thank you for doing a lot for me, what we don't want to do is say, oh, but I didn't do enough. No, we just say, thank you for the compliment. Yeah, actually, I did a lot for you today. Because that's kind of getting it into your heart, right? Receiving compliments is a huge part of intimacy. It's very intimate to receive a compliment. So my suggestion is, Bird, both of you just sit down and acknowledge how great you guys are, that he gives and you give, and that's just to be celebrated. No more what's enough and what isn't. That's my quick advice. Let me know if that helped. Okay. I was selfish in relationships, so at least I can do that for him and respect him. Yes. Oh, that's so nice of you to reflect that, Meg. I think you've done a lot of work too. Okay. My wife has farts while the dog is there to help. Oh my God, you're funny, Alfred E. Newman. I know who that was. That was the guy from Mad Magazine. What Me Worry? I loved him. You're funny. You're welcome, Megs. I'm just, your vibe is extremely excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Alfred E. Newman. I appreciate, yeah, Mad Magazine. We used to read the back of that and the guy with the quirky little thing. And I just loved him. So thank you. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me here, by the way. I know I'm going a mile a minute trying to answer as many questions as I can. So thank you for your patience and do keep the questions coming. Any advice on trying to get through a trauma bond? Can you explain a little bit more about what you mean by a trauma bond? A 30-year relationship with a cruel narc. I'm guessing that this 30-year relationship is over, right? When we're talking about trauma, Yes, to suddenly ask for divorce after getting fired again. Oh my goodness. So glad you're out of there. Some people can get through trauma on their own with some personal healing and do things. Some people really do need the help of a very good therapist or a psychotherapist or a clinical therapist, depending on the extent of the trauma and the extent of the damage this relationship has done to you. So don't rule that out as a possibility. Because when it comes to trauma, sometimes that's just a really tricky thing. And I don't want you to suffer too long. And there are just times when, sometimes you just need the professional help. Sometimes you don't. And so the first thing I say is, of course, give yourself a due. It's when you're bonded through the ups and downs of affection from a narc. Oh, gotcha. Oh, that kind of, okay. First of all, I'm glad that relationship is over. And it's kind of done a number on you, hasn't it? Like they're rising and falling to somebody else's affection, non-affection, to somebody else's praise, to somebody else's insults, like they're right. That's really, really tough on any human. So I love that you're asking these kinds of questions. And so do consider do consider if you need specific professional help for that. I'm not saying that you do, but some people do, because again, that really beats up your psyche in there, and it beats up your core. Yes, and I hope and future plans only to keep changing them. Excellent. Because that beats at your core understanding and your core things and the things that you really believe in. So you really do have to have a look at some of those things. So the best thing you could do is to make sure that everything you do in your life from here on end is healthy. That you find your own good ways of nurturing yourself so there's no more rising and falling. That you make it your journey to heal and to ground yourself. Well, a lawyer for sure, and then someone to talk to. Yes. Yeah, these are very important questions, and I'm so glad you're asking them. So yeah, at the very least, make sure that these questions are poked around with by skilled people, because there could be some tricky areas there. But I love that you're thinking about this, and yes, please make healing, recharging, regrounding, getting to know yourself, seeing your strengths again, giving yourself the compliments, giving yourself the comfort and the empathy when you need it. These are things like where you were, and this is where a really good professional can help you, is to help you not really kind of regulate and even out your own emotions, because this could be really important. And I don't want you messing around and suffering long term. Make sure I didn't miss any questions. If anybody has any questions, for those of you just kind of coming in, I'm Dr. Elena Sherwood, relationship coach, retired couple therapist, also mental health therapist, retired mental health therapist of 3.5 decades. God, every time I say that, I can't believe it's that long. Yes, I'm trying to heal. I deserve it, and I try not to beat myself up. Yes, good to hear that. Yes, you try. I'm glad you're not beat. Stay away from beating yourself up. Yes, your only job is to kind of comfort, nurture, and learn. Okay, is arguing normal? Yes! What a great question. Yes. With some rules. Arguing. As long as it doesn't get mean. You can get loud, maybe you kind of whatever, but you as long as you don't get mean when you're arguing. But arguing is vital, because you got to think, two people are here together and you both come from different, no matter how alike your cultures are, no matter how much you have in common, no matter how whatever, you have two different brains, two different psyches, two different experiences of the world. And now you're going to put them together in a relationship where you're going to kind of coexist in a meaningful, intimate way. Hopefully. So it is natural and normal for your brains and your beliefs and your values to start colliding a bit about like, what do you mean? I don't agree with that. You're not supposed to agree on everything. You don't have to agree on everything. And you do need to argue, and you do need to speak up, because how else are you going to get to know each other? Be nice, be respectful, be kind, argue away. Does that make sense, Miranda M.? You're welcome. You're welcome. How do you manage to exist as an independent person while in a relationship? Love this question, Julia. Thank you. Earlier, you probably missed it because, again, this was kind of partway through the live. I said personal development, self-growth, self-awareness, all of that. Notice the word personal, self. That is our entire makeup. That is our job. That is in our core. That is within our little system to take care of. Your partner may agree with it, may not, may get in the way a little bit, be a pain in the butt about it. Maybe, whoa, yeah, you go, whatever. Maybe. Regardless of that, this is your journey. And so never feel like just because I'm in a relationship, just because I'm married, it's now time to lose myself and my voice and my identity and my goals. Whoa, no. I will in fact argue, oh my God, you guys are getting heated now. I will in fact argue that sometimes when you are in your relationship is when you really find your voice. Because you might be having somebody now who's questioning things, not so much like, I don't agree, but more like, I don't understand. And so if you are now saying, well, let me help you understand because this is what I really believe. And so the more of you that comes out, the more you're learning about yourself. Is this answering your question, Julia? And so totally agree with the finding your voice part while you're in a relationship. Yes, absolutely. And I just did a post on this because sometimes finding our voice is even easier when we have somebody else next to us who really wants us to find our voice. And because much as I want my husband to be somebody who follows me around and does things like whenever I want, no, I don't want that. I didn't marry that. I want somebody who thinks for himself, who will question me when I deserve to be questioned, and who will, and stop me from doing really, really stupid things, or tell me what I need to know. If he knows something that he knows I should know, he better be telling me. So there's that. Yes, thank you. I thought it was normal, but another coach said no fighting. Yeah, okay. That is never advice that I would give myself. I know people have different styles, so I would never say no fighting. In fact, you need for things to mix. You need for things to, all these little bits and amazingness of both of you to kind of come together and make something really good together with it. The best of you, the best of your partner, somewhere in there can become something really incredible. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you for the rose. Thank you for the follow, Miles. Oh, you guys totally agree with finding your voice, part with your relationship. Yes. That roofer chick. Whoa, you're a roofer. That's so cool. Thank you for the follow. And again, Miranda, thank you for the follow. So if you have any, those are just joining, I know I've got a kind of a sort of like a revolving door of people coming and going. Thank you. If I can answer even a couple more questions, I'm glad to. Thank you for all the support, you guys. My voice is loud and clear. I go unheard. What? Huh. Well, that's unfortunate. And so my voice is pretty loud and clear. Sometimes the louder I get, the less, so interested to hear what I have to say. Yeah, so I get loud too, and sometimes I get drowned out too, but sometimes you just really have to be insistent that your voice be heard. My kid, when he was young, and I'd be talking to somebody and he really wanted my attention, he would literally grab my face and look into me and make me talk. I am not above doing that if that's what you need to do sometimes. I just got out of an abusive relationship and it feels good to be out. Oh, Gabby, first of all, yay for getting out. Whatever. I did a lot of work. I've worked with a lot of people who've been abused, and hats off to you. And now I can't imagine. Have you found different parts of yourself since? Tell me what you've started to learn about yourself. Have you found like, hey, I didn't know, I forgot I loved that, or I forgot I liked that, or, oh my God, it's so freeing. So yeah, congratulations, Gabby. Oh, and I hope you're older buck, welcome. So yeah, there's something I want to say too about people who've been abused in emotional or physical relationships. I came across this little tidbit when I was doing my master's, and I got to say it floored me. It says that, people think, oh, she must have had low self-esteem to fall into an abusive relationship, right? This is what I found out. No. If you take a well-adjusted, intelligent, highly productive person, and you put them and they wind up in an emotionally abusive relationship, over time, that gets worn down. Over time, all of that greatness gets broken down to the point that this intelligent, accomplished, really with it person becomes less and less and less inside. So I just needed to say that in case anybody was giving you that kind of judgment. So, hey, great job on getting out. There's lots of people joining. Thank you. You guys rock. Does anybody have any more questions or relationship questions? Oh my goodness. I need catch my breath. Guys, get me I'm just all riled up. Oh my God, I got to do these lives more. Oh yeah, that's a huge, very big emotionally abusive thing to do, is to isolate the partners from their sources of strength and sources of love, like your family. Well, hey, it's never too late. At least you can catch up, and at least, you're hanging out with your girlfriends. Yeah, totally. Just having fun. What process should couples take in resolving a fight? Okay. Grown-up behavior. That's it. Grown-up behavior. Okay. Process to resolving a fight. This is grown-up behavior. Tell me why you believe that. Well, I believe that because I know this and this and this, and I have done that and it's gone bad. Oh, I see. Well, I still don't agree with you because I know this and this and this and this, and this is how it's gone bad. Oh, okay. Well, how can we make this work? I don't know right now, but why don't we talk about this later when we both had time to simmer through this, and let's go and do that plan, like go to that party where we're going to go to and go out for dinner. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, let's just park it and then we'll revisit again. That is ideally the grown-up way that people do it, is that they work it through. This is another tip for anybody in a relationship or will be in a relationship. You have to be able to park the arguments, as in it can't take over. Agreed? Yes, right? That roofer chick. So you have to be able to park arguments and they don't take over your entire lives. It doesn't become the silent treatment. It doesn't become oh, I'm so offended. That's it. I'm leaving. No, arguments happen. Disagreements happen. If you were here earlier, you would have heard me say, argue. How else are you going to know each other? So there's that. And so resolving is about being grown-ups where you discuss. And sometimes you got to park it because you've had these great plans and you don't want to cancel plans just because you're in a place where you're not agreeing. And it's okay for you to go to bed without resolving it, because I can think of some of the very, very big disagreements my husband and I had, and it took 3-4 months. And it's not really a fight. It's just a disagreement on what we were going to do. And so with the resolving an issue, it's both, yeah, right? And with the resolving an agreement, it's about bringing in the grown-ups in us to think about, he just said this, what do I think of that? Well, wait a minute. Did I receive it properly? He just said this, then I say, did you just say this? And so it's like a game of catch. He tosses me a thought, did I catch it? If I'm not sure I caught it, I ask the same thing. I launch another idea at him. He has to make sure that he caught it in what I was really meaning. And so that's kind of how disagreements get resolved, is in the refining and the bringing in of two sides. Does that help, that roofer chick? I hope it helped. I want to make sure I'm not missing any of your questions. A few people joining in. Thank you. Thank you for joining in. I'm glad you're here. I'm just about running out of. Oh, I'm glad that roofer chick. I just love Alicia. Lovely to have you here. Okay, Miranda, I've been divorced for 5 years now. I don't know if I ever want to share my space with another person. You're not alone with that, girl. Plenty of people, plenty of women. Oh, Alicia, you're so sweet. Thank you. Alicia is like one of my, she's just such a lovely human. Yeah, Miranda, even some of my other male, female friends have saying, they're kind of joking, I don't want to train another one, but it's really more, it took me a long time to kind of learn to do that. And so I really value my space. So always good when you can find joy in your aloneness. Because you should be doing that whether you're in a relationship or not. So thank you for the follow, Virgo71. Any advice on finding a relationship? I'm in my 20s. I work as a nurse in school. I'm in school. There's no one. Hey, congratulations. Look at you going nursing school. That's not easy. And I'm sure you have worked very hard for that. So I'm really not opposed to what people do with the online apps and stuff. I'm not opposed to that at all. Here are things to look for, though, is you just really look for somebody who looks like a good human. Okay, I want to make sure I finish the advice on the nursing. Don't be too much in a hurry to find someone. 20s is a good time to kind of do your own thing. And the other thing too is somebody who does what they say. That's very important. Somebody's consistent, somebody who doesn't, who doesn't seem to, there's nothing kind of like, they're telling the truth. And you can ask difficult questions and they give you good answers, as in like reasonable answers. If you got somebody who's really about, wow, look how amazing I am, run. Because they're really amazing people will not be telling you they're amazing because they're just busy being amazing and enjoying their amazing lives. And so does that help a little bit? My beautiful nursing school friend, and Miranda, right, I like being alone, and that's what scares me, how much I enjoy being alone. Hey, nothing to be scared of there. I tried apps. I found it hard being a Muslim woman. Understandable. Understandable. Are there apps specifically for Muslim women or Muslim communities? Because I've seen some that are specific for certain cultures. So that's a possibility. Okay, that's a great option. Yes. The other thing that people have suggested that they do is if you have time, you probably don't if you're in nursing school, but if you have time for hobbies or anything like that and you join something with things with other people that have the same things that have in common with you, like you're going to have to put yourself out there a little bit because amazing as you are, you got to be seen for people to know you're amazing. And so again, according to your comfort zone, according to your time limits, but just don't be afraid to put yourself out there because thank you for the follow, you guys. Appreciate that. And so I'm really okay. I would actually consider apps. Personally, that is probably the route I would go if I were in your shoes. Okay. Any other questions, you guys? I think I just expect people to fall into my lap, but going out is key. Well, yes, they might fall into your lap too. But by going out, I don't mean like going to bars and doing things you don't want to do, but even just things like, going to a coffee shop and kind of maybe doing some of your homework there or doing kind of some of your studying there or just being out in public places and just being open to looking for, you got to look for the right things though. Again, stay away from the glitzy, glamoury, I'm awesome people because... as they say, people who are living their best lives aren't telling people they're living their best lives. They're just busy doing it. And so, yeah, look for good character. Look for really good character. You are most welcome. I am so happy to help, honestly. What are some red flags of a potential toxic abusive relationship? Oh my God, the questions keep coming, the good questions. Okay. Controlling behavior. Guys who say I'm a good guy, I found usually aren't good men. Yes, right? You're either good or you aren't. Anyway, okay. Potentially abusive, controlling, as in, where were you? You said you were going to be whatever. Where are you going? We're like that kind of. There's curious, like, hey, where were you? Whatever. But there's like, where were you? So any kind of controlling behavior. And I just did a post on this. No, it wasn't a post. It was man, I have a whole content on that, on the bad for you stuff. Somebody who says, I don't do emotions, or somebody has no emotional expression, as in, that's a hard one to tell though, but, instead of in a discussion, instead of expressing, they may close up. I'm not a fan of silent treatment people. I know I have been known to use it myself in times of whatever, but it's not a very grown up behavior. I don't advocate for it. So anybody who gives you the silent treatment instead of coming to say, you really upset me, I don't know what we're going to do about this, that's the grown up thing, as opposed to So there's that. Look at here. Instead of I talked about the controlling behavior. Instead of encouraging you, they would have like some competition. Oh, well, I did this. You say, hey, I got this thing. Oh yeah, well, I did it better. Like that kind of competing, red flag, run. Somebody who doesn't like to deal with any like conflict, any of that, avoids it, red flag. Somebody who talks about people who they've thrown off their planets, like, yeah, we're not talking anymore. And I don't like somebody who like closes off, red flag. There's going to be times when you're just going to have to do that. But people who habitually, it's not a healthy way of coping. And also a person who will self-isolate. And I don't mean like, just because, some people are just homebodies. Like I'm actually quite a homebody person. But I do connect with other people in a meaningful way. So I would look for somebody who has meaningful connections. Let's name green flags. I love that. Okay, green flags. Somebody who's very free in giving compliments. The Owl Queen. Hello, Heather. Yeah, somebody who's very liberal with compliments. Very easy to say, hey, you look great today, and means it. Not just like kissing ass kind of thing. Hi, Heather. Who is expressive, who is easy to say, you know what really upset me today? I was really upset because dating is scary now. So I hear, yes. Hi, Heather. So expressive, somebody who shows interest, not like I know I controlling a little bit earlier, but like an interest in, if you say, yeah, there was a time that I whatever, and somebody will say, oh, really? Tell me more. Like somebody who's actually interested in you, interested in your story, has an interest in, what you're about, that kind of thing, who pays attention to little things. What about a great guy who isn't assertive, aggressive enough, doesn't take charge? Well, if he's a great guy, that's okay too. Because a great guy is still a great guy. And some people are just not confrontational in their manner. And that's how they live with their values, is they just make choices. Now, if they're afraid of confrontation and avoid it, that's one thing. But if they're just, I'm not fond of it, but I'll do it because it's important to you, that's different. So not assertive, not aggressive enough. It depends on what you mean by that. Because there are some really, really solid guys, and I even know a few of them. It's like they don't say a lot, but they're just very strong. So you won't find them arguing with a lot of people because they don't have anything to prove. And so it was just kind of like there's a place in the world for them too. And so, I would take a non-aggressive, although assertiveness is important because the difference is he at least using his voice, even if he's not like in your face about it, because that's important. You need to be with somebody who uses their voice. Okay, had a good guy, but felt I was convenient to him all the time. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Well, it doesn't sound like, do you feel like Cindy, he took advantage of your convenience? I felt like on dates I'm more masculine, like holding the door open. He seems too scared to take the lead. Some people must be really scared, like shy on dates, though. I wouldn't read too much. I mean, some people it's the manners and that kind of stuff. And some people, they're normally very polite and kind and helpful, but they just freeze up during dates. So that's a possibility too. I gotta even my husband now, he was so terrified. I remember he saying he finally called up this girl and he finally asked her out. This is back in high school, and she said, "Oh, I'm busy that day." And he didn't have the courage to ask again, to say, well, what about tomorrow night or whatever? He just didn't call. Like, he just got terrified. And that's just it's just, it can get tough out there. Hi, Caroline. Do you find media plays an effect in society's standards regarding relationships? Oh my goodness. If I were to rank future dating guys based on what I see on my Hallmark channel, so you really got to watch. You really got to watch that too. Is that media can set standards for? Hi, Caroline. Media can set some unrealistic standards, and society does that anyway. Social media will do that, and so it's very easy. I do feel bad because people are now giving us an idea of what is ideal and what isn't. And much as I have some celebrities that I have an interest in, I love their acting, I love their whatever, I have zero interest in what their relationships are doing, because really that has nothing to do with anything other than, of course, I want them to be happy the way, if I admire them, I want them to be happy. But they, the perfect couple, there's no such thing as the perfect couple, first of all, no matter how they look. No matter what income, no matter what socioeconomic status they may have, there's no such thing as a perfect couple. Thank you. Yes, unrealistic expectations, right? It's insane. Not even that. I got enough battles on what I'm supposed to be, let alone what my partner's supposed to be. And so we really do need to filter in our brains about, but that's for the commercial, right? I remember what was it? It's a commercial for Gillette, I think, or whatever it was. Like, look at me, look at your man, look at me, look at your man. And it was this beautiful chiseled dude and everybody was laughing about him. So anyway, that was the standards. Ways to improve communication with my partner to make him feel appreciated as a man. Excellent question. So I would go straight to saying, Old Spice, that's what it was. Look at me, look at your man. That's right. Thank you. Ways to improve communication. I know in my own, I can get big. I'm very vocal and I'm very empathic and I'm very expressive. And so some partners aren't. So for some of us, if you're anything like me, I actually have to pull it back a little bit and make sure my partner actually has enough room and enough space without being condescending, how are you feeling? Like, it's more like I always need to pause and say, what do you think? And often, especially very expressive people, men, women, have to kind of pull back before we kind of launch at them about some of our opinions. We kind of have to look at them and do a little empathy here, which is like tuning into, if I were to guess what he's feeling right now, what does that look like? That looks like tired. That looks like distracted. That looks maybe like worried, maybe exhausted. And so it's more like, Then, if you're not sure, you can ask, are you tired? Are you exhausted? Are you worried about something? Like, feel free to feed little questions here and there. When we were in a therapist school, they were like, do not ask leading questions. I was doing investigations. So do not loudly. There's a time and a place for leading questions. And especially if you are with somebody who's not really doesn't really have an easy time to like blurt out what's going on in their minds. So that's one of the things for communication, is kind of making sure that your partner has enough room, and also the kind of intuitively, wonder what he's feeling, what he's thinking, like doing that, and then feeding some of it. The other thing too, you could take that a step further, is if you really can get a sense of what they are feeling, and you did follow it up with an action, that would be even better. Because if I'm looking at him and he looks tired and he looks worried, and what else can I do? Oh, sometimes I know with mine, my amazing husband, he always forgets to keep up his water. So I will literally get up and just get a water glass and put it next to him and say, just in case you're thirsty. And he'll be like, oh my God, thank you. Like whatever it is, like sometimes we have to do a little bit of extra that way, if that helps, and to give him some more room. Cole Bennett, my ex, Caroline, tell me if that was helpful, if I could go on that even some more. I'm so sorry to hear, Cole, that your ex passed away. What a tragedy. I hope you're doing okay. I'm sure you're not okay, but much love to you. I'm glad that was helpful. Relationships are complicated, and even with exes, right? So yeah, what if you're not physically attracted to someone, but you find a lot in common? Give them of course. Okay. It's not so much that you have a lot of good, use your gut feeling, because some of the non-glamorous guys are the best humans on this planet. And so if you find someone, whatever the physical attraction, that's nothing. Any of us will change whatever we look like. That could change. Anything can happen. I could get physically ill, and then all of my hair falls out, and then I put on 50 pounds, and then I get a skin condition, and then all of that. Like physical appearance changes, but character does not. So go look for good character. All of you, if you're in the market. Please do that. Physical attractiveness, that's another one of these socially acceptable things that people think we should have, right? No. That has nothing to do with none of all the couples that I've seen and all the happy people that I've been around. It has nothing to do with how they look. How do you stop procrastination? That is a really good question, Nate Stefanov. Here's one thing. I actually did a TikTok on this, or did I do it on YouTube? And it was on make a list, seriously, of all the things you're avoiding to do. Make a list of every single thing. You're going to have to be a grown-up to do that, to face like, yeah, I am avoiding cleaning up. I am avoiding paying my taxes. I'm avoiding looking at my bank. I'm avoiding all of that, exploring. Make a long list of every single thing you are avoiding. You don't need to tackle any of it right then. It's just you facing yourself, being a grown-up, and making a list. And then every day, see what you could do about knocking 2 or 3 things out of there. And if you're having a fantastically productive day, knock off as many as you can, but just set your standard to only deal with like 2 up to 3 things. If you only get 1, you're ahead. So that's my suggestion on procrastination. Do you have any opinions on age gaps? Is there a gap that becomes too big? In my opinion, no, it's all a personal choice. Again, it depends on your own standards and what you value and what you foresee for yourself. For some people, it's a big deal. Like they don't want to date older guys, date older women. And for some people, they will only date older men, older women, older partners, older whatever it is. So it's really all personal to you. Just again, on a personal note, my husband's father was 17 years older than his wife. And from my parents, my dad was 8 years older than my mom. And so there's that. Of course, you can make yourself crazy with what are statistics, who lives longer, Who's going to die first, all of that. You can make yourself crazy with statistics and look at that if that's what matters. But really, if you're with somebody who really makes you feel good and fully respects and is committed to your happiness, and is very healthy in themselves, what's a number, right? What can you expect from your 30-minute sessions? Well, so it's really about, what I do is if people can prepare ahead of time, they can. If not, just kind of think, okay, if there's one thing I wanted to say to her, what does she want to know? If you're not sure, don't worry about it. Don't, because one of the things that I do is I fire the questions that I think people really need. And so that's what I do, is like, if there's anything I've really learned what to do over my last 35 years, is how to ask the questions I think people need to answer. So that's it. And so I actually also have a women's group that I run, and it's we do it weekly. I don't advertise it very much. It's a $99. We meet weekly, and it's for an hour and a half every week, and it's the same 3 or 4 women that have been together, and we've been together since October. Every week, it's still like I'm still asking questions. It's like, oh my God, I knew you were going to ask that. It's like, it's just about, I just usually get a sense of where people's distress areas are. It just kind of ends up showing itself. And if you end up spending the 30 minutes with me and you really feel like it wasn't any good and you really will, whatever, then we can talk about, we can discuss that. So that's kind of, that's what you can expect. So a little bit of like this, but it's more like completely on you. A lot more questions, a little more intense, and a lot more intentional. I hope that answers your question. I just want to say I am really grateful for any of you who have followed, for any of you who have liked and commented and viewed any of my content. I appreciate it. I appreciate every single one of you. And I know that there's a lot of heartache and there's a lot of confusion and there's a lot of misinformation being spread out there. My goal is to just really give you some good, reliable, solid stuff. No question is really out there when it comes to things that help us move forward, things that make us happy, things that tap into what it is. Like, what is it about that? I want something and I don't know what it is. Okay. That's okay. And of course, I'll do a little plug. I do 30-minute sessions, and it's really all about you and finding what it is that you're looking for and what steps you might need to take to get there. Because I've been around a lot of people who've hurt, and I've been around a lot of people who are just very confused about a few things. And sometimes it's just the right kind of question that's going to help you answer that taps into that place that's kind of bursting to get some airtime. My channel is for you. My channel is to be of service. My human goal is to be of service. And so again, thank you very much, Alicia. Oh, Alicia, thank you so much. I appreciate all your support, honestly. Very truly, you have places to be, you have a family, you have life, and I appreciate all the extra that you give. Melissa, thank you for the follow, and Miranda, thank you. Have a good rest of your day as well. And to all of you, good wishes, sending great vibes. Keep plugging at it. Life is hard. You're doing it. Let's all learn from each other. Let's all help each other. And with kindness, gratitude. Thank you all.